Okay, guys, I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming vegan propaganda film called The Game Changers. This is something that supposedly is going to change the way we perceive plant-based diets. It's got the promotion of people like Arnold Schwarzenegger that are backing this film. Let's talk about the producer or filmmaker. His name is James Cameron. He is famously known as the guy who produced Avatar and several other huge blockbusters. Very wealthy, very rich, worth about $1 billion. He has been ideologically driven to the vegan movement for a number of years now. He and his wife are both vegans. His wife continues to look increasingly sick as time goes by. You can tell that the veganism is catching up with him, but they're ideologically driven. It just so happens that James Cameron is heavily invested in the largest manufacturer in North America of pea protein. And so I can't imagine that his investments in any way have shaped his filmmaking beliefs and using this as propaganda to sell more money. But the film talks about a number of athletes that are quote unquote vegan and performing well. Let's analyze some of these guys just for instance. And so one that often gets a lot of press is a guy named Kendrick Ferris. Now Kendrick Ferris is an American Olympic lifter, and he has gone to the last three Olympics in 2008, 2012, and latest in 2016 in the Rio Olympics. And much ado was made about the fact that in sometime in the middle of 2014, he went vegan and performed well at the Olympic trials. And it's kind of questionable how vegan he actually was. There's some evidence that perhaps he was using whey protein. But let's examine his results at the Olympics because this is very telling. And so 2014, he went vegan. 2016 Olympics, about a year and a half later, he totaled 357 kilograms. That's the total between his Olympic lifts of the snatch and the cleaning jerk, which garnered him 11th place. This was in the 94 kilogram class. And so if we look at his Olympic history, which he had done prior to this, as an omnivore, as a meat eater, as a younger man. So he was 30 in the 2016 Olympics and he totaled 357 kilograms, getting 11th place. In the 2012 Olympics, he was in a lighter weight class, 85 kilograms, nearly 20 pounds lighter body weight. He totaled 355 kilograms, getting 10th place. Only 2 kilograms less than he did in 2016 at nearly 20 pounds heavier body weight. But then go farther back to 2008. What was his Olympic total then? It was 362 kilograms, again, at the 85 kilogram weight class. And so in 2008, 8 years younger, 20 pounds lighter, he totaled more as a lighter weight guy, as an omnivore meat eater, than he did as a vegan in the 2016 Olympics. And so largely you can argue that his Olympic performance as a vegan was a abysmal failure relative to what he had done previously. In fact, his elbow was injured not long after the Olympics, and we haven't heard a word from him since, other than this vegan propaganda film. So it's unclear if he'll be able to compete in the 2020 Olympics. Certainly, he's had done no competition since that time. Likely, veganism has ruined his career. Okay, another prominent athlete, Novak Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is a Serbian tennis player, one of the most successful Serbian athletes of all time. He has won some Grand Slam titles in tennis. In 2016, he went vegan. By 2017, he had to abandon veganism because he noticed a decline in his performance. And now his diet contains fish, white meat, and other animal products. He had to give up dairy and gluten before, where he really noticed improvement in his performance. So giving up those things, junk food, not the veganism, helped his performance, and he had to leave veganism because of poor performance, but yet he's in the film. Here's a guy that didn't make the film, the guy that was originally supposed to be in the film. His name is Tim Sheaf. Some of you guys may know that Tim Sheaf came out recently saying that he no longer could do veganism. He was a very prominent vegan athlete. He won a number of high-level obstacle course races. He had a clothing line called Ethics Clothing Line because he was an ethical vegan. He came out recently this year saying that he could no longer do veganism because it wrecked his health. He was dropped from the film, unsurprisingly. A couple other guys here. Patrick Baboubian, he's a strongman, talking about being as strong as an ox. You've never seen any ox eating meat, type of stuff. This guy's a German strongman that the vegans hail as the strongest man in the world. Well, let's talk about Patrick Baboubian. So, one, he's admittedly taking steroids. Two, he is a mid-level at best strongman. He is a lightweight strongman, not even a heavyweight guy because he can't put on as much mass. He built his body as an omnivore, using meat, taking drugs. Went into veganism. He has one record of a 180 kilogram overhead log press, which is a decent press, not to take any away from the guy, but it is nowhere near the strongest in the world. The strongest log press in the world belongs to Zydrunas Savicus, 228 kilograms. That's over 100 pounds more than what Baboubian pressed. He would not even make it onto the world's strongest man stage. And so the vegans claiming he's the strongest man is just an abysmal joke. Not even close. Let's talk about another one. Nimai Delgado, the one they vegans all always point to. This is a young kid, never eaten meat in his life, right? Built his body as a vegetarian, eating whey protein, eating dairy, eating eggs, eating lots of animal source protein. Built the vast majority of his musculature. Went vegan, lost a little weight, did one competitive show. Not much since then. He's just not made any progress. He is not even a bodybuilder. He is a physique competitor. He was not even close. He was not even close to getting up on stage with a real pro bodybuilder, an actual bodybuilder that puts on muscle. Would never even get clear near to Mr. Olympia. And granted, there's drug usage in both of those sports, but he is nowhere near. He's a kid with good genetics that spent most of his life eating animal products and is now holding on to some of that muscle as a vegan, but nowhere near, reaching his potential if he were to eat meat. Again, this is just another example of people with good genetics that can do okay for a while on veganism. Most of them find their performance drops. They have to quit their sport. They have to retire. Same thing happened to Carl Lewis at the end of his career, switched to veganism, made it through one Olympics, got injured, and had to quit. Finally, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger on there now promoting that meat is not necessary for physique. Arnold, as some of you may realize, he's built his body using meat and steroids. That's clear. The guy clearly, all the muscle that he built and is now hanging on to came as a result of eating copious amounts of meat. Arnold would never have even gotten on the Olympia stage, much less won any of those contests, if it wasn't for an animal-based diet and copious amounts of animal-based diet in his career. And so it's ridiculous that he's now, claiming that that's unnecessary. It's absolute garbage. Anyway, this is a propaganda film. The producers and financiers are highly, highly conflicted with conflicts of interest with money, investments in fake meats and other fake, plant proteins. It is completely misleading in what actually happens to these athletes. It's clear. All of these athletes that go on a plant-based diet either coast, get worse, get injured, or quit their career. No one has been the top of their career and been the best in the world at anything on a purely plant-based diet from birth. It just doesn't happen. They need meat to build the muscles, or animal products, and to get to the very, very top, you've got to eat a lot of animal products. Okay, so anybody that views this as something that gives you hope, it's like the kids reading the muscle magazines when they're 15 and looking at their idols and not realizing these guys all take steroids. It's just ridiculous to claim that a plant-based diet is going to make you some athletic Superman when that's far from the truth. Nothing to do with it at all. These people that are already genetically gifted, already building their athletic accomplishments on a meat-based diet, and then they switch over and they have a short period where if they've given up junk food, like a lot of guys in the NFL. I mean, these guys are tremendous physical specimens, and they have a complete garbage diet in their 20s. They give that stuff up, and they feel better. And that's the whole point of veganism. You feel better by giving up junk food. It's not giving up the meat. The other argument about the ethical side, once again, if you want to be the most ethical you can be with regard to your food consumption, you will exclusively choose regenerative style agriculture. That is an option for you. If you are in a country where you have the choice to be a vegan, then you have a choice to exclusively support regenerative agriculture. You will kill far, far less animals. It's time to take back the narrative from the vegans. They don't own the narrative. We should not concede it. We should not believe it, because it's all propaganda garbage designed ultimately to make more money for these cheap plant-based processed food companies. Okay, guys, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Vegans, I already know what you guys would think. Quite honestly, I don't care. This is for the people that actually have brains. If you eat sentient animals, you will have sentience. Those that don't eat sentient animals lack sentience. That's a pretty good heuristic to realize. All right, you guys have a good day. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.